Galaxies and Theories by Natalie Davidson. We're going to be talking about galaxies, what they are, and how they're formed. And then we're going to talk about theories on why they're formed and the theories on how the universe began. How galaxies are formed. Most people believe that galaxies are clumps of stars and swirling clouds of gas and dust that collapse under their gravitational pull. Once they get close enough, they start to knit themselves together to form into spinning packs of matter. The galaxy's gravitational pull is so strong that it can pull in a galaxy and they can clash with each other. The Milky Way galaxy is about to clash with the Andromeda galaxy, which is only 2.5 light years away. The average length that galaxies are apart is around 9,900,000 light years away. So the Andromeda galaxy and the Milky Way galaxy are very close. Galaxies merging doesn't happen right away. It usually will take around anywhere from a few 100 million to a few 100 billion years to fully complete the process, aka we will not be alive, sadly, by the time that the Andromeda and the Milky Way galaxy clash together. Now let's talk about the types of galaxies. Galaxies are classified into different types of builds that they make. There are 4 main categories of galaxies: elliptical, spiral, barred spiral, and irregular. The types of galaxies are then put into further more complex subcategories. They are put into those categories based on their shape and their size. An elliptical galaxy has an ellipsoidal shape and an image with almost no detail. So if you were to take a picture of an elliptical galaxy with a telescope, it would almost be like a white blob. A spiral galaxy consists of a flat, rotating disk that contains many stars, gas, and dust. A barred spiral galaxies have a central bar-shaped structure that also consists of stars. Barred galaxies are found in about half of all spiral galaxies. An irregular galaxy is a galaxy that doesn't have a specific shape. They do not fall into any of the regular classifications of galaxies. Here we have the 4 types of galaxies. On the far left, we have elliptical. Again, it's going to be a blob. On the middle left, we have the spiral galaxy. On the right left, we have the barred spiral, which is very different from the spiral. And then we have an irregular galaxy on the far right. Now we're going to talk about what role do galaxies play in space. Galaxies don't have any specific role in space, but they do help us learn more about the gravitational pull they carry, and also the matter that they are made of. In order to understand the nature and history of the universe, astronomers study and test the functions of the universe, including the history and pattern of galaxies. We do know that they affect how other things in space are built and understood. We still don't know why galaxies are made for other than learning the effect that they have on other objects in space. Now let's talk about our galaxy. If you didn't already know, we live in the Milky Way galaxy that also contains our solar system, which contains our planet Earth. The Milky Way is a spiral galaxy that is about 13.51 billion years old. It has about 250 billion stars and also has a radius of 52,850 light years, and the diameter is 100,000 light years. If you look up in the sky in certain places on Earth, with a naked eye, you can see a swath of light that is our galaxy. It will look like a ring of stars. The Milky Way galaxy also has many constellations that are visible from Earth, such as Orion, and then we have the Orica, and then the Cassiopeia, Sagittarius, and Scorpius. The southern hemisphere includes Norma, Circinus, and Crux, and Carina. If you look for these 3 constellations, you can see them with your naked eye in the sky. On the left, we have Sagittarius, in the middle we have Scorpio, and then on the far right is Orion. Last but not least, let's talk about facts about galaxies. Galaxies can range in size from a dwarf to a giant galaxy. Dwarf galaxies have only about 10 million stars, while giant galaxies have 100 trillion stars. You may notice that we have dwarf planets, and then we also have regular planets. We have dwarf galaxies, and we also have regular galaxies. Next is, you will often find dwarf galaxies around large clusters of giant galaxies. Astronomers now estimate that there are 100 billion galaxies in the universe. Dark matter aside, galaxies are mostly empty. Now let's move on to the Big Bang Theory. What is the Big Bang Theory? The Big Bang Theory is a theory about how our universe began. It's a very complex and hard to understand, but in the simplest terms, it means that the whole universe started with a small singularity. To get into more detail, it grows excessively over time, and it has grown excessively over the past 13.8 billion years, which is close to how old the Earth is. Some astronomers believe that the universe is still growing. If everything is growing, that also means that everything is growing further apart, and that a long time ago, the planets and stars inside the universe were much closer than they are now. You may be wondering, how did a small singularity grow into the universe, which is gigantic? Astronomers think that when the universe was closer together, every little particle was hot because they were mixed with energy and light, and they were very close together in clumps. As everything grew, the particles cooled down because they started to move further apart from each other. Then the particles grouped together and formed atoms. Those atoms, over time, started to form planets and stars. Now let's talk about, when was the Big Bang Theory created? In 1927, an astronomer called George Lemaitre wanted to know how the universe was created. After ideas and years of thinking, he chose one theory that made the most sense to him. 2 years later, it started to become more believable because an astronomer named Edwin Hubble started to notice how other galaxies were moving away from us. Not just that, but the farthest galaxies were moving away faster than the ones that were closer to us. This proved Lemaitre's theory to be believable. After the theory gained more popularity, people noticed that it didn't have a name because George Lemaitre didn't name it. Scientists started to call it the Big Bang Theory because of how big everything was getting and how everything was expanding. On the left, we have George Lemaitre, and then on the right, we have Edwin Hubble. Now let's talk about, is it true? Is the Big Bang Theory a true fact? Once again, we don't know why the universe was created or why we are here. The Big Bang Theory is only a theory, it's not facts. Sure, it makes sense, but there are other theories that are the complete opposite that also make sense. There is no answer to why the planets and stars and galaxies have been created. Astronomers can only give ideas, but they might never know the real truth, nor will we know the truth to why we are here and why we are put in universes and galaxies and planets with tons of stars. Last but not least, let's move on to facts about the Big Bang Theory. The Big Bang Theory is the most common theory in the USA. The Big Bang Theory has a lot of similarities with the theory of evolution and how we evolutionized into human beings. The Big Bang Theory is not an explosion like a lot of people think, even though it's called the Big Bang Theory. The Big Bang Theory is believed to have started 13.8 billion years ago, and also that's around the time that Earth was made and when Earth began. That is the end of my presentation. End of story. Thank you for listening.